Okay, so I'm doing things kind of in reverse this time. Do you remember, not that long ago, a couple of reviews ago, we took a look at the Transformers Micromasters 6 train, and I said then how it was reused or re-released, or it was concurrently released in North America under the name of Rail Racer. Well, you know what? It's not the first use of those molds. As a matter of fact, it was derived from this guy. This is Sixliner, who actually came out first, and actually has one figure, one character, that is a completely different character. It has one unique mold, if you will. Yes, it works the same, so we're going to do this kind of quick, but I thought it was only right that we looked at where all of the train combining micromastery goodness began with the Transformers Micromasters Sixliner in the latest GotBot True review. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you're at it, that's right, hit that notification bell, man, because it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor, Transformers Collectors, NL, the Autobot family, and have a look for me everywhere across social media. And this is Sixliner, the Autobot train combiner that came just before 6 Train. And 6 Train could technically also be called Rail Racer. It's kind of confusing, but this is where it all started. This guy was released first, and everything sort of followed after it. And he is unique in that he wasn't reused or revisioned as like a North American named combiner. Like, you know, he didn't become a Defensor. He didn't become a Rail Racer. He didn't become Raiden. He didn't become, you know, Superion or Computron or anybody. He is quite honestly just Sixliner, and his little Micromaster body parts are the characters that they are, not renamed to anything else. And some of these names, whoo boy, some of these names are not good. They're so lazy. Of the 6 used here, in comparison to 6 Train, one of them is a completely unique mold to this combiner specifically. We're going to see who it is and how exciting his name is when we head over to the table and take a very quick look at all these guys. And here we have the other Autobot train Micromaster combiner Sixliner. And I said pretty recently in episode 587 that 6 Train, or Rail Racer if you will, was a reuse of Sixliner. My understanding is that Sixliner originated as part of the Return of Convoy storyline in 1991 and was re-released in 2002. And in 1992, the original Sixliner was redone as 6 Train. And then in 2003, the new Sixliner was re-released again as 6 Train and concurrently in North America as Rail Racer. But it all sort of started with Sixliner. Now, because we've looked at this, I'm going to go through this super duper quick. If you want details, you can look at, like I said, episode 587. This is not going to be long, and we're going to start things off right away with the team leader, that being Digo. And this time around, Digo is the leader of the group. He's a little black, steam engine, I think, with white detailing. He was reused in gold as San Digo in the 6 Train combiner, and is probably best known as Overload from Rail Racer. But this is the re-release from 2002. The deco is slightly different. We do the transformation down like that. We put the arms forward. That's it. That's literally all we have in order to make this guy into the back butt and back pelvis, I guess, of the combined mode. We just kind of, is it this way? Maybe it's this way it goes. And goes bent up. Maybe it's this way it goes. Yeah, this way it goes. There you go. And we'll use that red port, and it will go onto the torso, and this is, yeah, okay. Member number 2. This is the ever exciting Alan. I believe he works either in human resources or he works in marketing. Not sure which one, but I know he's on the 8th floor. That's where Alan works. And he was reused as Atlan, A-T-L-A-N. I don't know, I think somebody just misspelled the name on the paperwork. But he was Atlan in Six Train, and probably best known as Rail Racer member Tankor. No way, no way could this ever be mistaken for Tankor. Just saying. We use a little peg on the top to hold the whole kind of thighs and pelvis section. We're going to take that out of it. The transformation is pretty simple, as you'd expect, where we open up the legs and we stand the guy up. Really, the only difference here that I can deduce from the original kind of G1 version of him is that the lower legs had a little bit of a yellow detail, probably a sticker. Now this dude, he becomes an arm. So we bring it up like that, and there you go. He's an arm and ready to go. There's a little space down here. That's where we slide the hand piece into when we get to it. So far we have, what, an arm in the back torso. He's coming together, guys. He's coming together with member number 3. And next up, we have Joe. Yeah, Joe. You know, he works down at the corner store, and he moonlights at the arcade. You know, where the young folks go to be hip and cool. Joe wants to be your friend. Joe wants to be your buddy. And Joe wants to be your pal. But in terms of being a figure, he's basically the train that has to carry a lot of the junk that makes up the combined mode. That being one of the feet, the blaster, the 2 hands, and yes, the head. So we can take all of these pieces off, and you can take them apart, and it's just the head and a couple of hands and a blaster and a foot. Nothing too exciting. In terms of Joe himself, just how exciting is Joe? Not very. You know, how exciting would you expect Joe to be? Old Joe here transforms by flipping down his legs, just like all of these guys. And you stand, let's bring his arms forward because he's a little bit back heavy. And you stand him up, that's it. It's the same as the other ones. The only difference with the reissue and the original is that we're missing silver detailing on the lower leg. Besides that, I think they're exactly the same. Now, fun fact, Joe actually was not used for the 6 train combiner and therefore did not have a alternate character name for Rail Racer. In fact, the entire mold was replaced with the mold for Windy. And Windy was renamed as Midnight Express for Rail Racer. But this actual mold, Joe is just Joe. Joe also becomes a leg, and we do that by turning Joe on the side and flipping that back up, and we bring that little piece down so it can lock into the foot, and we just flip that piece up so that the leg will be able to slot down into position. And I think we're flying through these guys pretty quickly. This would be Leaf. I guess because he has green on him. Leaf was later used in 6 Train as Rays, or is it Rays? Yeah, Rays. And Rays was also renamed Rapid Run for Rail Racer. Wow, there's a lot of R's there. But yeah, Leaf. Okay, and Leaf transforms out and up. There you go. There's Leaf. The only real difference, again, that I can kind of see between the G1 and the reissue is some detailing on the lower legs. That's about it. In terms of what Leaf becomes, Leaf is another arm. So you go like that, and there you go, you have another arm. By the way, in terms of what we can actually put together, this is all we can actually put together, even though we have 2 arms and a head, and we have 2 hands. We don't have the upper torso yet to put onto this guy. You can see on this leg over on this side how the connection works. It's 2 rectangular, I guess pegs for lack of a better term, and they're going to slot down into an opening right here. And that little piece I flipped out also folds up on the side to lock that leg into place. We're going to do the same when we get to the other leg. And speaking of that other leg, with such classic names as Joe and Alan, we now have Knight. And Knight is blue, apparently. He has the other foot and the torso, so we can just take that off, and we'll be able to actually put more of this guy together now very quickly. In terms of the robot conversion, you guessed it, flip down the legs and stand the guy up, and this is what we have. Again, the only difference is the toes on this guy are blue. The toes should be more of a silver color. He's just a little dude who becomes a leg. Flip that up. Flip this piece out and make sure that his connector piece for the actual train thing is down so it will be able to fit into the foot section, and we have the other leg, if you will. And now we have two legs attached. They must go attached this way because I'll say the hitch on this guy is different than the hitch on the other guy. And each foot has a different slot. Like one is just a little rectangular slot. The other is a strange shaped slot because the hitch over here has a peg that pegs into it. It's the peg hole. But the hitch for Knight is the peg. So it's two different things. And the feet are very specific. Like this foot has to be used with Knight, and this foot has to be used with Joe, I believe. And when we come up to the body here, we have a little circular peg hole there, and a little circular peg here. And this is how we attach the two body halves together. And then we have pegs right here at the shoulders, and you guessed it, that's exactly where we're going to attach the two arms. Over there and over there. And the hands, they too can even go slotted in at this point. Because there's no reason to wait. We have a little start on the back of the hand that should be facing out, so we come over here to this side and we should be able to push that hand into position. Sorry about that, I did have to cut away there to slot the arms into position, or the hands I should say into position, because they did not want to cooperate with me and I really didn't want to belabor the issue. When we come over here, we will see that there's a little peg down right there, and that little peg, as you might have guessed, is where we will place this guy. I'm sorry, it's not this orange peg, it's this little black peg down here. More on his butt. And now we have everything except the head and the kind of meat of the body and the torso and his chest. And that brings us to our last member of the team, the ever exciting Spark. And Spark is also known in Six Train as Desire and was renamed as Rail Spike for Rail Racer. To do the conversion here, it's a little bit different. We actually flip that back and flip up his head, and then we flip. Do we have to flip down? No, we don't even have to flip down the legs. My mistake. We just had to flip back the thing and flip up his head, and that's it. That's all we have to do. In terms of differences, again, a little bit of difference in terms of coloration on the lower leg, but that's really about it that I can tell. In terms of getting him into his combined mode, really, you turn him around, this is going to be the chest. We take the head and we slot it down over, and we then, if I can do it, angle up that piece like that, and this opening here will slot into a position in the combined mode chest. And he goes slotted into that position, and we have Sixliner in all of his glory. Each of these Smaller robots can get in a seated position and their arms can go forward but cannot go all the way around. They are extremely average. 5 out of 6 of them have the exact same transformation. The only one with a different transformation is Spark. Everybody else, exact same transformation, just remolded. The same thing for Sixtrain and for Rail Racer. In terms of articulation for the big robot, the arms can go all the way around 360, but they may come off of the peg that they are on. The head can go left. Actually, the head can't go left and right. I'm sorry. Besides the arms going around, that's about it. There's no movement at the legs or the knees or the feet. The way that this pegs in, unlike many of the other 6-member combiners, is not with like a 3mm peg and a port. A lot of this are like 2 rectangular pegs that go into a square notch and hold it into position. While his articulation is highly limited, he is also very, very, very solid. Very solid. In terms of his coloration, compared to the original, this is pretty close. It's a solid 9. In terms of the articulation, 1. It's not good articulation, but you gotta respect it for the time that it came out. It is what it is. I'd love to see this updated in the Siege line. In terms of the transformation, super simple, 10. Overall, this guy is, I guess it's about a 6 maybe. Here he is next to Sixtrain, or Rail Racer if you will. And even for a bigger comparison, there he is on display with all of the 16 combiners that we recently looked at here on the channel. I don't own these. They're all on loan to me by a good friend of the channel, Wayne. I really appreciate it. And while the articulation is super limited on all of them, they do make for an awfully beautiful display. And we're back here again with Sixliner. And how is this guy not one of the most beloved combiners in all of G1 with such memorable names as Alan? You know, and Joe. The one unique mold here is just named Joe. You know, Joe's your pal. He's your buddy, and he, you know, works at the store down the street. And if you ask him nicely, he will give you an extra slice of bologna when you put in your order for freshly cut meats. I don't know. I mean, it's the train combiner again. It's fine. It's a brick. It's very G1 goodness, you know, at its finest. But like, you know, it's definitely garish colors. They're not for everyone. But I'll say this: I like the fact, again, I said this recently. I like the fact again that we have unique modes like trains. Yes, I wish that they worked a little better. Yes, I'd like to see them updated in the Siege line with better molds. They're fine. They're functional. They're just kind of boring. That being said, if you're somebody who is looking to kind of get into the Micromasters 6 combiners like this, he's one certainly that you should have, and he does look fantastic on display with the other ones, as I kind of demonstrated when I put him in line with the other ones that we've looked at here on the channel. He's fine, but he's not for everyone. Let me know what you think about Sixliner. Is he up your alley? Are you a big enough Micromaster fan to hunt this guy down? You know that I love to hear from you. I appreciate you dropping by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. Please, if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, there's a donation link down in the description. At the very least, I ask you to please hit the subscription button if you haven't done so already. Stick around, have some fun with us, and I very much look forward to the next time that you and I get together, either in the live streams, at the stop motion premieres, or right here inside the videos.